What did you say?
Eli Stefansky has an earthquake story.
Everybody remembers.
I also had an earthquake story last night. I felt my whole room shaking.
Nobody believed me that something fell off my table because it probably didn't happen.
You can't say thanks if you didn't start.
I thought I was shuffling too much at the table.
All right, so there was an earthquake in Ramat Shemesh. If anybody wasn't here, or people that were in the lower floors didn't feel it, but I felt it. If you live on the top, on the fourth, fifth floor, I literally shook. I almost fell off my. Yeah, it was crazy. I've never felt one, so it was a 4.6 on the Richter scale. Yeah, literally, but it's not. My chandelier was like making noises. I was on the phone with Noam. I thought that was my last conversation. I was actually scared. Like I don't remember me being scared like that. I thought it was all over, finished. It was stop. Also, it was like for 5 seconds. Like. All right, Zok the Mishnah. Hanoitel Sachar Liyos Royes HaBechor. So we said in order for us to benefit from a Bechar, you can't eat a Bechar unless it has a mum. And the only way you know that it's a mum is if you go to a professional. You can't just decide on your own that it's a mum. So you go to a professional and the guy says, listen, I'm a doctor, I'm a vet, I check mumim, I'm going to charge for this. Hanoitel Sachar Liyos Royes HaBechor ain't shortim apiv. It's a mitzvah to check it, and he cannot take money for it. Elohim kein hoya mumcha ke'ayala v'yavna. Like this chassid, I don't know how you pronounce it exactly, like Ayala, whatever his name is, he was a chassid.
He says Ayala.
What do you say, Havin?
Ayala. He says
Ila. He says Ayala, he says Ila, like whatever the article says.
Article says Ayala.
Article says Ayala, that's the way it goes.
Thank you.
They have a lot of
duk. There it is. Thank you.
It's a girl's name.
Ayala.
Reb Chaim Kanievsky would make him change his name. Put it down. Shtir loy chachamim liyos noitel arba yisoris lebehem adaka v'shishu legaso. Chachamim instituted a fixed rate, and once there's a fixed rate, then you're allowed to take money even for checking cars if you're a chassid like Ayla. Bein tam ubein balmum, regardless of the outcome. It's very interesting. The Gemara is going to say there's a difference in the outcome. You would think there's a difference. Says the Gemara, my taima, why do you get more money for a larger animal? Hi, nofish tirche. The hi nofish tirche. Says Rashi, when you have a large animal, you have to knock it down to the ground and tie it up so you can check it. You don't want to get like a nice gesunta rear kick from it, so you have to knock it down. Again, I have an original piece of art. This is what it looks like. But I wanted to bring a video. It's very interesting because to knock it down is not so much. You can't knock it down because it could break its legs. So there's a whole mahalach with the ropes. You make it go down. Because you trip it until like one leg down, and then it's fine. What? This is how they did it. But it takes work. So you get 2 more isser for this work to knock it down.
So you got to do it for free.
So if you're not a professional like Ayla, then you do it for free. Because it's a mitzvah like any other mitzvah. Guy comes to you, what? Every time you go to the Rav for a Shiloh, you pay him?
He's a professional. Because he's a chassid.
He's a chassid, he's not gonna take money for the wrong reasons.
Now,
Now,
a professional can't take money.
what?
The reason is not
No, we're worried that we're choshed that he's gonna take money for the wrong thing.
yeah, but nothing to do with the mitzvah.
But you see later that mitzvahs you don't take money.
That's not the reason.
Okay.
We worry that because of the
So I'll tell you, you're right. That's how Rashi learns. But Rashi says like you, and all the Rishonim ask the question: if he's getting a set fee, so who cares if he's a chassid or not? He's not going to change anything. He's getting 4 and 6. So that's why they explain it's because it's schar batala, and only Ayla had so many people coming to his door. He couldn't have a job. He couldn't make money otherwise. So that's why they allowed him. But a regular guy that once every 3 weeks somebody comes to ask him a shayla, so you don't take money for it.
If you're a makel, you got a good reputation. People come.
Yeah.
So
That's what we're going to be
if he's doing
discussing.
it for a living,
That's
that's
how.
the heter?
What?
If he's doing it for a living, that's the heter?
If it's schar batala de muchav, that everybody knows that it's obvious that he is foregoing his regular salary for this, then according to these, that's how some Rishonim are learning. The Ramban learns like that.
That's the next one.
Based on which Israeli
They said on this Mishnah. Okay.
can charge money.
Bein tamu bein balmum.
In England also.
Says the Gemara. Bishlam balmum mishum nikol shorile elo tam amay. I'm fascinated by this Gemara's kasha, personally. The Gemara says, if the outcome is no good for the kohen, the owner of this animal, then why should he get paid? And the Gemara actually says, doesn't matter. In those days, that's how it worked. If the outcome wasn't good, you don't get paid. So if the outcome was that the animal is a tam, and you have to take this animal home, he doesn't deserve anything. Says the Gemara, the reason why we pay him, whether it's a tam or a balmum, that he's always paskening that it's a balmum because he wants to get paid. If he would say to the guy, take it back home, he wouldn't get paid. So Mela, this Ayla is a chashuv. Now the Gemara has a bam kasha. If he sends him back home, he says, look, your animal doesn't have a mum, but I would like 6 iser for this animal because I just had to knock him down to the ground. Go back home. What's going to happen? He's going to take him back home, and 3 months later, he's going to have to come back again. So this chacham is going to get paid 5 times for one animal.
Why does it come back again?
Because he wants a mum. The only way to eat it is a mum. So the first time, no mum. But pay me 6 iser. A couple months later, comes back again, no mum. He keeps on sending him home, even though there's a massive mum here, but he wants to get paid over and over and over. Says the Gemara, no. We thought about that trick. And the reason why he's saying that it's not about mum, he's going to keep coming back to me. Says the Gemara, every animal, only you get paid once per animal. You check the chip, and you only get 6 iser. After that, you have to do it over and over. According to Rashi, you have to do it over and over for free.
So what happens if it genuinely developed a mum 6 months down the line, you bring it back to the chacham?
You have to do it for free.
You have to do it for free.
For free.
Included.
Now, Tosis has a
You see it
kasha.
already. Where's the
Now,
receipt?
Tosis has a very good
I
kasha.
see it. It was the other
What's the
chacham.
obvious question?
Give me your Kabbalah. How does he recognize the animal?
Back again and again and again. So just leave it
That's
alone.
right. That's the obvious kasha. That's Tosis' kasha.
What?
What?
Why would a guy want this bother of him coming back over and over and over again? I have to do it for free. I get paid once per animal. So let me just say, it's about mom. Go home. Get out of here. So Tosis says nobody's chashud to do such a thing. Not to work and be over and over. To take money to pretend that it's not that it's a tam, even though it's a balmum, and to get my fee over and over. I'm money people are chashud, but to work a little extra, that's one of Tosis' tirutzim. Or Tosis argues with Rashi completely, and he says no. You don't. It's not that you have to do it for free, but you can refuse to see him. He says, I don't want to deal with you. Rashi says it's a one-time thing. You get paid once, and you have to see this animal over and over again. It doesn't really say. That's how Tosis learns in Rashi. Tosis says no. You could only get paid once an animal. If you want to see him again, you'll see him again. If you don't want to see it, you don't see it. So it's not
up to a year, right?
No. For a moment, it's forever until he develops a mum. Yeah, it's up to a year if he has a mum. But if he doesn't have a mum, you just wait. Shtayim shalosh shanim, we learn.
And this guy's really stuck. If I don't want to see him, he's got to go pay somebody else to see him for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's the idea.
Listen, you don't show up to the vet unless you know that it's a mum, but you need the stamp of the vet. How often is the mum going to say no? This ripped ear is not a ripped ear. You know what a ripped ear, what a broken bone looks like.
You get readmitted to hospital.
This is a very interesting Mishnah. This happens all the time. This is important for our days as well. It says in the Mishnah, "Hanoitel sechar ladon." If a dayan takes money for just sitting on the bezdin. This is not talking about bribery. This is talking about getting paid.
Sitting on the best in
The what?
all our dayanim.
Yeah, so that's
sit on the best.
okay. Yeah, we're gonna get there. But what does the Mishnah tell us? The Mishnah says you're not allowed to sit. You're not allowed to take money for sitting on the bezdin. Dina of betalim, all his dinim, even the past ones, are no good. Lahoyd, if somebody gets paid to testify a dusa betalim.
There's a concept called a professional witness in America. You can hire a witness that's their tchum, and they.
In nowadays
get
also,
paid
it
to
will be
a
allowed. We're going to get into it in a second. There's ways that it's allowed in nowadays.
Whether they
No, you're
Lahazois.
opinion. You're talking about opinion.
Like a pig,
Oh,
professional
professional
opinion.
witness, and then
I went to court once in America about myself. Somebody robbed me, and I caught the guy, and I had to testify against him. So I got like $7.50 or something. They break it down: $3.2 for lunch, and a little bit of money for your bus. Like they pay you for testifying. That's what you're talking about?
That's
No. Well, somebody gets paid $250,000.
No, because you think that it's a other witness, but you yourself, you yourself, you get paid.
Thanks.
You're doing the government a favor by putting this guy away.
It's just paid your expenses, you're not paid for giving the test.
Right, exactly. That's what we're going to see in a second. Expenses is something else. If somebody wants to get paid for sprinkling the paraduma water, how hard is that? He wants to get paid. Or even to mix the mixture of the parad. His water is the worst water. It's like the water of a cave. Disgusting. Dirty water. Efroi, Efer Mikla, it's just plain simple ashes. It has no... basically, it's the Takanas Chachamim that we take away the sprinkling that he did. Imaya Koyin, this is an interesting case.
So it means they remain.
You have a rav. Hold on. You have a rav or a witness that's a kohen, and you want him to testify. You want him to do a din for you. So you schlep the guy. You bring him with you, and you bring him through some place that it becomes tummy. The kohen becomes tummy, and now he can't eat truma. And truma is less expensive than chulin because most people can't eat truma. Like we said yesterday, how many people? There's only 10% of the society that can eat this truma. So there's no market for it. What? Less than 10%. Okay, fine. Less than 10%. Then, really, in shul, every shul has 50 men. There's a kohen, no?
That's 2%.
It's
Right. Oh, it's 50. Right. Okay. You're right. Good. Thank you. Panovich.
He didn't do math,
Yeah.
let's remember.
In my fifth grade. And it came to bite me. We're Shmuel, we're all excited. Oh, fifth grade. In my So now you're allowed to pay the guy back. You're allowed to pay the kohen what he lost. So you can feed him and give him a drink, give him oil. What?
Ultimate groma.
This is a grama. Yeah,
An
you brought him
ultimate
through.
groma. It took him to half that.
Okay, but nobody's going to be choshed you that you're bribing
It
him,
was
that
done
you're
on
paying him.
purpose.
Now, we're not talking about the chiyuv that you have. It doesn't say you're mechuyev to pay him, because that would be a grama. You're allowed to pay him, and there's no isser of somebody being choshed you that you're paying him for his job. All you're giving him is his loss. And if he's not able to walk, it's hard for him to walk, you can put him on a donkey. I have also an original piece of art for this one.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Don't read it.
I know that
Don't
guy.
read it. No, this guy had a turban. It was a whole mice getting the turban off. Yeah, okay. Baruch Hashem.
I know the donkey.
Rosh Hashanah and Oman? What is that?
It doesn't mean anything.
Who goes like this? What?
You're getting sponsored by Breslau over here?
That's how it came. I came right off of Google like this.
Exactly.
Next. There's a lot of originals today.
These
So you let
these pictures have turned from informative to entertaining.
Yes, there's one even more. And it's just for you and Yosef. Nobody else is going to understand it. No, maybe Levi. All right. No, I don't want to insult it. This next picture, I don't know if I should show it. All right. You can give him a ride in your car. It's fine. Nobody's going to be choshen. The Gemara is going to explain what the schar is. You're allowed to pay him his lost wages. Says Rashi, how do I know that you're not allowed to take money for teaching Torah? And on the side, how do you know l'chayra also these other things that you're not allowed to take money for doing it in Torah, etc. Doing a mitzvah. Omer Avid Omer Rav Omer Kro Re'ei Limati Eschem. Hakadosh Baruch Hu says, look, I taught you, and just like Hakadosh Baruch Hu teaches you for free, you're not allowed to take money for teaching Torah.
Where does it say the word free in the Pasuk?
Because Hakadosh Baruch Hu is free. You can't pay him.
Ma'ani in the
Oh.
sky, you be the sky.
Oh, I had the
You're
same
reading
child.
into
Yeah,
it.
that's very good. I don't know.
Chazal read into things. That's their job.
Mani,
All the
But
time.
there's no-
invisible. You have to be.
You can do more than one thing at once.
Like you said, like that was
Mani bechinom avatem bechinom.
Chazal's
What?
job is to tell us what the
What
diuk is
happened
over here.
Yeah.
They do it all
Right.
over the place. No matter
Actually,
what.
so what's beginnen?
No, he's just asking that it's
It's all drushes. Drushes don't have
the way
any
I
basis.
asked your question
It's
was
drusha.
that there's bechinam would be if you could pay Hakadosh Baruch Hu, and in this situation you can't, so you see it's bechinam, but there's no possibility of doing it. So okay, fine.
So all these korbanos we bring, they're not,
What?
all the korbanos
Yeah.
we bring and everything, that's not payment to Bernstein?
No, it's a payment to yourself.
You're asking-
You're mechaper yourself. It's not. You don't pay Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
He's Yeah.
But you don't pay.
Rabbi Yochanan in Masechtas Nedarim says what?
Your mitzvahs that you're supposed to be qualified.
portion.
We're not talking about doing mitzvahs here. We're talking about learning too. Teaching. Torah. It's nothing to do with.
It's 8 minute daf. Somebody's watching the 8 minute. He's doing Chazara.
It has nothing to do with doing mitzvahs. It's teaching Torah.
Well, this does have the Rishonim say they also learn, but not immediately.
So that's not the.
Go-
That's not the limit of the Gemara.
By the
Okay, but
way,
teaching
don't
Torah,
nobody should
same
worry
thing.
about
It's an
it.
extension.
Everyone gets paid for everything they do, and it's fine. Don't worry, they work it out.
Rabbi Yochanan in the Dharam says that
So really-
you're allowed to take money for teaching the taimim, to teach laning. A bar mitzvah teacher is allowed to take money because the way they understand it is because taimim is the rabbanon. So the Agais Maimonides wants to say that anything that's the rabbanon you're allowed to make money for. What else is there? The Ran and Dharam brings
Teaching
a
mitzvahs derabbanan?
teaching mitzvahs the rabbanon, yeah, because that's not Reidin Matiyeskim. I didn't teach you. It's not including that pasuk. I taught you carrying mitzvahs.
Yeah, it's quite right what you're saying.
So
That's why in yeshiva.
the Yerushalmi says that if a Rebbe has the opportunity to do other work, he has other jobs, but he chooses to teach kids, then he's allowed to take money. Taisus over here brings down at the end of Taisus Mani Bechinam, there's a concept of doing babysitting. If you're a babysitter, you're a Rebbe and Cheder, you're basically a babysitter / teaching Aleph Beis, but you're making sure that these boys, and there's a big distinction between boys and girls. Girls are well behaved compared to boys, so it might be usher, according to some Rishonim, to teach a girl Torah, whereas for a boy, you're teaching Torah, but you're actually a babysitter.
Hillel says you deserve danger money.
What? Danger?
Danger pay for being teaching Jewish kids.
Yeah. Okay.
Serious school.
Out upon him. The Shulchan Aruch says that in nowadays you're allowed to take money for all these things. He also says that you're allowed to learn in Koil, you're allowed to make money for learning. Nowadays is different. You take all these reasons and put them together, and he comes up with the head.
Rambam doesn't like that.
Who?
Rambam.
My father is Makbid. He didn't take any money for it. Okay. Tanya Namahachi. Kasher Tzivani Hashem Elohoi. In the end of the pasuk it says Kasher Tzivani Hashem Elohoi that Moshe Rabbeinu Yisrael like a Kodesh Baruch Hu Toharim Mani Bechinam Avatem Bechinam. This is very interesting. Uminayin Shem Lo Imlotzo Bechinam Sheyilmad B'Sachar. If you're looking for a shear, you're looking for a Rebbe to teach you Torah, and nobody wants to teach you for free, you're allowed to pay the guy to be your tutor. What's the issue? You hear? You're missing a good one. Mr. Kornbluth, you're missing a good one here.
Okay.
What's the issue of paying somebody to teach you Torah?
Never.
Oh, Lefnei Iver. He's not allowed to take the money. What are you paying him? Yishkoyach, you want to pay him, but he's not allowed to take the money. No, there's no problem with Lefnei Iver here. It's his problem. You have to learn Torah. This is your life, like your oxygen, whatever it is. MS Kinei, you go out there and pay for the truth. But now, like give it to him.
He doesn't.
Now,
he doesn't
this guy,
Excuse me.
this guy just paid $20,000 a year in tuition, right? How much is tuition? $20,000. So you want to recoup a little bit. Look, I paid to learn. Now I'm going to go teach other people and try to recoup it. Like a doctor, you can't do that.
In England, you pay tuition fee in a Jewish school. It's all the matana. It has to be my matana.
Really?
Yeah. Voluntary contribution. It's called voluntary contributions.
And you can't get a write-off.
Otherwise, you can't get tax relief.
Oh, you could get tax relief? If not?
You can't get tax relief,
Ah.
and the school is in trouble if they send you a bill. They're not even allowed to send you a bill.
So how do they force people to pay tuition?
It's not easy.
Everything is different in England.
Sorry?
It's voluntary, mandatory.
They come to your house and they say, "We want our matana. Where's my matana?" It happens if we don't give a matana, your kids are not going to be able to come to school tomorrow.
Not in
It's nice that a large number of children don't.
What?
A large number of people, children get it.
Well, we had
Many of the parents can't.
Uminayin shelo yoyim hakishem shelamati b'sochar kachal lemdena b'sochar. I want to teach it. Talmud loymar emes kinei v'altim kor. La'az is l'kadosh meim of mei ma'ora efroi efer mikla. If a person takes money for where? Where did I skip? I said that. Where? Yeah, I said it. Go back to the video. See. Uminayin shelo yoyim hakishem shelamati b'sochar. This is for Nachman. If I taught it, if I learned it, it cost me money. Let me recoup my money. You could buy it, but you can't sell it. If you take money for sprinkling the paraduma, the water is nothing. A person who tries to be mekadesh a woman by sprinkling her with the mechatos, be'efer chatos, harezim kudeshes. It works. Now, l'chayra, you see from here.
What did she receive?
Well, she received the benefit of him doing the action of making her tar. She went from tamei to tar. Yeah, of course, it's a kedushin.
There's no kinyan.
Which you
Yeah,
have
but
to,
there's only one about the paraduma. That's the only
which you
one.
normally have to
That's why you
pay.
give a gift.
Which you normally have to pay
No.
somebody to put sprinkles in there.
No, that's the Mishnah. If you pay somebody to sprinkle, it's not a sprinkle. It's garbage. It's dirty water.
So what's the type of
So over here it says that if you sprinkle her, you can be mekadesh her. That means there is a value in it. That means he could get money for it. The Gemara understands. Says the Gemara. Here, we'll see the answer. We'll see the answer. You'll understand the kasha. Ava Beishu Yisrael. And Rashi says that normally Yisrael doesn't do this at all. Tosfos argues it's something that Kohen typically does. It's almost like shechita, where Yisrael do the shechita in the Beis Hamikdash, but it never happens. When he takes the money for dragging the water, for the tircha of getting the water here, so that's okay. But when you want to take the money for doing the mitzvah of sprinkling, that she wouldn't be mekudesh. Like Kanami, the Ktani Hachal Hazis L'Kadosh, which is the mitzvah. Basim Ktani HaMekadosh B'mei Chatos, in the water, which is the tircha, U'be'efer Chatos. Shmami no.
The value of the actual water, which contains
I don't know if it's the actual water, but the value of the tircha of getting the water.
No,
It's like a Neviot bottle kind of value.
And that bottle, the value of it is caused by the tir.
But Rashi says milui hamayim, filling it up. It's not the actual water. It's schlepping the water. It's schlepping your water. Schlepping the water. Water has no value. I don't think. It's schlepping it on your
The
shoulder.
water gets the value from the shell.
Okay.
That's value.
Right,
from
okay.
the process.
No, in the polo, you do the polo. You catch with the polo.
Im haya kayin.
It's like you dance. Dance the fana, you close your catch with the kida.
How much would she be willing to pay somebody to schlep the water here? I don't know. He's saying it's in the water. Im haya kayin mitameu mitrumasa. There was on the 8 minute. It's not every picture we have to show here. And not every picture we show here we show on 8 minute either. Coming up soon. Here, coming up. Now, if a kohen is the dayan, and you bring the dayan with you, you hold his hand and you bring him and you make him tamei, so we said you're allowed to feed him because he lost out. As the Gemara, gufei hechi yazel. How could he become tamei? It's a problem. There's a pasuk that says, and this is not it. Don't worry. We need this for in a minute, but a kohen cannot become tamei. He's not allowed to become tamei. Says the kohen shouldn't become tamei. It's asur. So there's three roots in the Beis HaPras, the Rabbanon. We're talking about a Beis HaPras, a grave. There's a lost grave there, and they plowed the field, and we're concerned that the plow went deep enough, even though it's a very far-fetched concern. The plow goes so deep that it actually grabs onto the body and brings up some bones. And if there's a bone the size of a kernel of wheat, and he touches it, not the oil. There's no oil on a kernel of wheat, but if you touch it, you move it, then he becomes tamei. Now, the Omar Rav Yehuda Omar Rav minapeach odom beis hapras v'hoylech. A person can blow on the ground. Oh, here comes the picture. Because I was thinking, I said, how does it look? A person. What?
And we assume he's tamei, the kohen?
No.
No.
So he's allowed to do this, but we say since truma so chamer, there's a chiyuv misa to it. Then he's allowed to. He's not allowed to eat truma anymore. But he's allowed to put himself in the position and go. He sits there, he goes down on the ground, and he blows away here. This is only for 2 people in the shir. Everybody else don't get. This is what I thought looks like a minute. What?
I thought you were going to do another thing.
What?
I thought you were going to do something else. Because sometimes you see there's a bunt down the third baseline, and they want it to go foul.
Oh, yeah. You think baseball, I think basketball. Okay, fine. Say this.
This guy Jordan is not a
Who's Jordan? No, I just saw. Fine. Next. Rav Yehuda Bar Ami.
Goat carne. Goat
I figured if I listen, I got it in because I put the breast in the beginning. Then I got that one. You owe me one.
Is that Umar, is that?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
If I didn't do that, you'd have big kind now.
And look,
Kidding. Rav Yehuda Bar Ami Yishmei Rav Yehuda Amar.
We're square.
There's another way to do it. Beis Aprash Shenidash Tar. If many people walked through this, so they created a path, and we're assuming that they either broke down the kernels to even smaller than a kernel, and it's not metama, or they got it away. There's nothing there. Same exact concept. The kohen is allowed to walk in there. He's not over on this isser because it's only the rabbanon, but he's not allowed to eat truma because the truma is a very strong isser. It's a chiyuv misa min hashamayim. There's no big difference. One is that he has to get down on his knees and start blowing like a meshugana, which is a weird thing. I mean, who's going to go through a whole field? I'm saying, I was picturing it. This guy's on all four, blowing close to the ground. He said, why? Because the guy told him, "Come be my dayan." Okay, I'll be your dayan. And he starts walking. What?
No one's walking around. You
can use the machine.
Those things in gardens.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but in those days, it doesn't say bepiv. Okay, I hear what you're saying. It doesn't say bepiv. He's minapeh the machine. Okay, very good.
The idea is that
Yeah.
the air will blow any fine pieces of bone.
Right, away.
Away.
And he won't touch it.
And
He won't go to
it's
touch
not a
it.
shine of oil. It doesn't matter if you tread
15
over
minutes,
it, it's only
16
what's on
minutes.
There is
the
no
surface.
oil, right? There is no. If it's under the dirt, there's no
That's an
oil.
idea for dice.
And if there's anything left,
so
it
he acknowledges
goes- it's
the
visible.
shout out, so he doesn't keep on saying
He knows that I'm not like you. That he always thinks that I'm a little bit bichur. So Mela.
Go on.
Inami b'shar tu moisdolei mazar alayu. Now, this is interesting. A kohen, it says in the pasuk in red, lenefesh. He's not allowed to make himself tummy to a nefesh, but he's allowed to touch a sheretz. He's allowed to touch a nevela. And Mela, that's what's going on here. The guy made him go through a place that he had to touch a dead rat, and Memela he can't eat truma, but he was allowed to do it. He's allowed to go through the rat in order to get to bezin. We're not talking about dead people. So you're allowed to pay these dayanim, the witnesses, like a person that has lost wages. What's the pshat? Explains Rashi that there's two types of jobs. There's a guy sitting in an air-conditioned room sorting out jewels. So his work he's barely working. It's a very good job. He gets paid very well, and it's very comfortable. Then you have a guy, Rashi says, a carpenter. He works really hard in the sun. He's building stuff. He doesn't get paid well at all. He has everything going against him. So if you offer something like that a job to be the official sprinkler of Paraduma, he'll jump at it. And there's a difference in wage because it's much more comfortable. So he's willing to take a big cut in his salary. But the guy in the air-conditioned room, the office worker, is not willing to take any cut. Why should he sprinkle people if he's sitting on a chair doing nothing almost? He's just looking at Smendy, right? All you do is sit, look in a little glass thing. What's the big deal? Make all the big bucks. So Mela,
Maybe do you have any vacancies?
what?
Do you have any vacancies?
There's a lot of vacancies. They're all now going
Yeah, all
to
the
Torah.
offices in the diner thing are empty. You can go there.
So that's the vart. So basically, Rashi is saying, or Abai is saying, that you have to check the job. Whatever job he has, it's not really dependent on him, but the market of that job versus the market of paraduma water, the difference of what people are willing to be mevater, how much of a cut they're willing to take, and that's what you give it. You have a guy, now we're talking about the next few mishnayos are people that are suspect of doing bad things. So this guy is a real bad guy. What he does is he takes a bechor, and before it has a mum, he rips his ear off, and then he goes to the guy, oh, I have a bechor with a ripped ear, oh, you're allowed to eat it. So he's over isser. Somebody that does something like that, of course you can't buy cows and sheep from him. Male cows and sheep, because it could be b'charim that he made a mum. Says the Mishnah, not only that, you can't buy from him venison, you can't buy deer meat from him. Why? Because deer meat, the Gemara says, is similar to veal. So the concept over here in the Mishnah is anything that's very hard to do. If he has to put a lot of work into it, he's going to make sure he's not over any isurim because he's worried he's going to do a lot of work. And then the Rabbanan are going to come and take it away from him. They're going to say, oh, You did it on purpose. You made a mum bildafka. Give me all your hides. Give me everything. But a hide that you didn't put any work into it, it's not tanned yet. So we're worried that he's going to sell it off as a bechor that had a mum, and it's not. He has nothing to lose, basically. He didn't put any effort into it. Yeah. He shechs the sand. He takes a bechor, cuts off its ear, then he shechs it. He brings it to the mumcha, gets a stamp, bechor with the mum, then he shechs it. Then he sells off the hide without any work. That he's not worried about. He's not concerned. So we can't buy any hides from him. Rebbe Lezer Oimer loichim mimeno oirish l'nekeva. Since a nekeva is not a bechor, so you're allowed to buy female hides from him. You can't buy from him wool that has some sort of work done to it because he cleaned it out from the dirt, but it's still not enough work. It's not a big job to clean it out. So he's still not concerned. But something that's a lot of work, like weaving threads and making garments, that he's not going to risk such hard work to be found out at the end that he's a ganav.
Why is he going to cheat with this and not with that?
Because something
he's
that
not going to take that risk.
he doesn't want to take a risk. He doesn't want to work for 5 days weaving. Then his neighbor's going to snitch on him. Hey, I saw him making a moment as the thing. Then come chachamim into his house. They knock on the door. Give us all the product, please. And he just wasted 5 days weaving. You saw how it goes? Each string, you have to go like this with the pika. You go like this, and then it's a whole thing. He doesn't want to do that. Besides tzvaim, the michlaf, the egla, interchangeable with veal. But it seems like avudin zavnina, something that's already tanned, he's allowed to sell. If it was, in fact, a bechor, he wouldn't risk all the hard work. Sabar, Rabbanan are going to come and take it away. My time, made the idea. A person can differentiate. You just look at the art. You could see, did this come off a female animal or a male animal? The Tanakama, and the Tanakama was Mechul Gan Rebbe Lezer in the Mishnah. In Kain Zachanami, he's going to cut out the parts that are tail signs that it's a zachar. He's going to just cut out the zachrus. And he'll tell people, oh, you know why it's missing here? Because the mice came and ate it. Everybody realizes there's no mice. He's trying to get away with. Yeah, you can see little nibblings versus a nice little scissor cut all around. Says no, it's after it's dead. What are you making? If you can't sell wool that's clean, it is cleaned from its feces or its dirt, and memela, it's one thing. But that's not enough of a tircha. It's not so hard to just throw it under the water in the sink and get rid of the stuff. We're talking about hard work, like weaving clothes, that he's not willing to risk. Just weaving a string, you're allowed to buy from him because it's a lot of work. But clothing is the next step after that. So of course you could buy clothing from him. My begodim namte, things that are made out of felt, like our black hats are made out of felt. So it's not really a woven process. It's not a weaving process. You take a bunch of wool and you press it together, and you have felt.
That's not
so,
how you make that.
Rabbit hair, whatever.
That's not how you make rabbit hair.
Okay, how do you do it?
Sorry, it has to be garroted. Very dirty business.
Yeah.
It's now illegal in the whole of Europe, right? Because you use mercury. You spin it into a cone with mercury. It's the mercury that rots.
Black cats are mercury? That's why we're all crazy?
Probably.
Okay.
The felt of the Gemara was just pressed.
Oh, you're a black hatter. Oh, okay. Not doing shidduch with you. It's full of mercury.
Yeah, I mean, in England there was a town.
It should be also to wear black hats. Be like the best, bro. Want to come out. Also, Isur Chomer to wear black hat.
I'll explain to you later why it's also to wear botulism, but that's a different story.
Maybe.
But there's a town in England that was famous for the hat making, Luton.
Yeah.
Luton was a hat, and they were called the Mad Hatters of Luton because of the.
Oh, they're all crazy from mercury. Oh, Baruch Shekivanti. You do get crazy from
The
the
felt
black.
of the Gemara was just
It's like, yeah, hold on. It's a noob shot him off the derech. Why do we have all these off the derech kids? He's forcing them to wear these black hats. Wow. Mercury. Fine. We only have a few minutes left. Let's do this Mishnah. We have to get to the next Mishnah actually. Somebody that's not so careful with Shemitah, so of course he can't buy fruits from him. You're not allowed to buy from him even flax. And even if he combed it, which is some sort of malacha, you think that he has something to lose. It's not such a big deal. That he was over Isser, Hashtag Tavi Zavanin and Org Mibai, my Arik, TK. TK is Rashi. By the way, when it says felt in Rashi, it says the word felt. But Akopanim TK means like a chain made out of this stuff, out of this flax. It's not really woven, so I would think that it's different, but it's also a lot of work. As we said before, Truma costs less money than Chulin because Chulin has more than 90% of the population can buy it. Chulin. Truma doesn't. So if a person tries to pass off Truma as Chulin, he's a problem. And you can't buy from him even salt water. I love this. I saw this once, Erev Pesach. I thought it's Geval, this picture right over here. They sell this salt water for basically.
Really?
Yeah. Look at this, in a jar. Salt water for the Passover Seder. Just in case you don't have water at home. I mean, salt everybody has, but just in case you don't have water, so they sell it ready-made, the mixture ready-made. Not a joke. So this is not a made-up picture. What? Oh. But you can prepare it. If you're going to go to the store and buy it, you can also prepare it 5 minutes before Shabbat. I'll go upon him. This Meshugana, this guy that sells Truma, you're not allowed to buy. What kind of water? What's that?
Mine vanilla. Not salt.
Really?
Yeah, that's how.
That's not what it says by me.
Where?
What does it say? Look in the Iron Scroll.
Where does it say?
It says Vamela.
Mine vanilla.
Not V. Vo. What does it say in the Iron Scroll? What does it say by you? No, Iron Scroll, no? Or? Rabbi Schoenberg is right. Mayim Vamelech, one or the other. Okay. Fine. Wrong picture. It's a good thing I didn't put on the 8-minute daf. Does it say like by that? By you also? Could you look what it says? Mayim Vamelech.
You know, Pshat, you just want to bring that picture.
That's right. I was waiting for that picture. I had it in my thing. I couldn't wait to use it.
Mein Umelach, he says.
Mayim Umel, but it could be one of the. Okay, fine. Reb Shimon Omer Kol Sheyesh Bo Zikas Trumo Maisros and Lochim Mimenu. Reb Shimon says no, it has to have some sort of connection to Truma. You can't just punish him. This is a punishment. This is a kanas. Don't buy water or salt from the guy. But Reb Shimon says no, you could buy water and salt. It has to be some sort of fruit that has Truma Maisros to it. Lasuyi Mai, when it says Reb Shimon says Kol Sheyesh Bo Zika, what does it mean Kol? Lasuyi Kiri Dogim the Marvagu Shemen Zayis. When a person takes the innards of fish, he adds olive oil, and olive oil has a connection to Truma Maisros. Says the Gemara Maisa, Huta Bochda Bechoshel Zabuni Harba the Atma. There was a shoichet. You see, it goes back. The Muncie story. It was in the time of the Gemara as well. There was a bad shoichet who would sell treif chalev, the chalev that's on the kidney, which we saw, that white stuff. It's completely asa deraisa. He would sell it and pretend that's b'mar dekanto. It's like as if it was the fat of the intestines. That's mutter. Can't say Rava punished him. L'zabuni afilu amguze. He said you can't even sell nuts.
Agav, that guy used to give Daf Yomi.
Yeah, we know. He still gives, and he's now he doesn't give Daf Yomi, but he was in Mr. Cornwall's share and he was in charge of Daf Yomi. He was the Yeshua of the Daf Yomi in Rechavia. Says the Gemara, says the Gemara, hold on. Does this go according to Rabbi Yehuda that says you can't even sell salt and water or salt water because it doesn't?
Maybe it's because Esav asked the sign about salt and water.
You see, only Rabbi Yehuda says you punish him on things that have no connection. So over here, what connection does a nut have to do with fat of an animal? Says the Gemara, the penalty has to do. Why? Stam dardige. How did he get the fat? Says the Gemara. Through nuts. Stam dardige garu bambuze. Most children love nuts. Like today, they love candy. He would get these kids. He would entice them with nuts. He would go to the children that their fathers were also shaykh and say, hey, I'll give you a nut if you give me your father's bad chalev. And then he would pass it off as kosher, chaylev, and memela. That's why he punished him in something that was connected. He didn't just punish him in anything.
Maybe it's his Maimon Melech.
Great day.
Maybe it's his Maimon Melech because of Esau asked his father
Melech.
about whether you do Truma on Maimon Melech.
Very geschmack
Why Mayim?
Potato.